grab yourself a beverage, settle into the couch, and chuck that remote across the room. You are in the right place at the right time. Welcome, everybody, to Friday Night Thunder, presented by Toyota, right here on MAV TV. I'm Chris Jacobs. All right, it's time for more live racing. This one's going to be good. It's the Pro Buggies versus the Pro Lights. And to call the race and send it on down, it's Ken Stout and Ricky Johnson.
Thanks a lot, guys. We appreciate that. Hey, Crandon, are you ready for a cup race? The first cup race of the weekend. Yeah, that's what it's all about. We're going to pitch two different classes against each other at the same time. The Pro Buggies are going to kick it off first, and then the Pro Lights are right behind them. 15 Pro Buggies out there. They're about 4 seconds off the pace, Ricky. That means that those V8 trucks are going to be chasing them down. Here's the kicker: a 3,400-pound truck and a 1,950-pound Pro Buggy.
And here we see Mason Jr. as he is on number 65. He's on the inside. He is Dave Mason Jr. He is our pole sitter. He's got that spot, but we saw them throwing down water, so the guys are going to have to find that cushion really quick. The good news for them, the shadows are long, and they're behind us now. They're not driving into the sun.
Jordan Bernlohr is one we want to keep an eye on with the Pro Buggy. He is also leading in the points with 4 wins and 10 podiums. In fact, the last 4 wins consecutively. We're ready for green flag. We're racing at the big house. Let's go. See if we can keep an eye on this split here.
The whole shot came from the outside, so you can see how they worked their way around, and the roost here is unbelievable, especially with these open-wheel cars. No mud flaps holding that back.
Already stringing out here. Pretty nice job here for the Pro Buggies. Nice job right there. As you can see, the players fighting for their spot. It looked like Dave Mason Jr. there at about 4th or 5th place. So we got a split of about 32, 33 seconds, somewhere in there. Oh, and look at the contact. Here comes the Pro Lights.
And Trey Gibbs with the whole shot. Johnny Holcher looks like he's in 4th place. So we got the Pro Lights are on their way.
We'll keep an eye on this now and find out how quickly they can start closing the gap. As once again, Trey Gibbs, a class of the field here, has just been dominant all year long. Holcher back there in 4th place.
Well, he's made a statement that he is going Pro 2 racing next year. He's going to race this weekend, but he would love to finish his Pro Light career with big wins here. Win today in this Cup race and tomorrow. But he's got a lot of work and a lot of ground to make up to try to pass all those buggies.
Good run here. Oh, and contact again. Just a small amount of contact as a 10 truck gets into the side of me right there. That is Travis Milhausen Jr. They're all, by the way, trying to catch legendary Mark Steinhardt, who's leading in Pro Buggy, followed up by Tony Keepers. Billy Booth, who's also very fast, and the points leader in Pro Buggy, Jordan Bernlohr, were the first ones to cross the stripe in Pro Buggy.
Well, in Steinhardt, this is a multiple generation. His father used to race with my son Luke out here in the buggy. Now you're seeing what I love about this sport, just like you, a lot of father and sons are participating in this racing.
Good look at the number 31 right there of Mark Steinhardt. Mark, a tough player out here. He's done a really nice job this year. Comes in here 4th in the points. Has yet to score a win, but does have a couple of podium finishes.
Tony Keepers is keeping him honest, looking around. They're both trying to use that cushion, but notice how they're getting that push with that rear engine. Makes it very light in the front. They're having to use that turning brake. And so if you're not familiar with what we're talking about, as we're watching Trey Gibbs as he works his way up, and now we're back to Steinhardt going around the finish. They have a push-pull situation, so if they turn to the right, they pull. If they push to the left, they push. But what that does, it locks up either of the inside rear tires as they helps them rotate around the corner.
We'll try to keep an eye on the Pro Lights and see as they close up. By the way, Brady Whitlock out here, Ryan Schwalbe in the field as well. Whitlock coming all the way from Arizona in one of Danny Fodrell's cars. Of course, Danny Fodrell, a Hall of Famer when it comes to Pro Buggies. And once again, trying to find out where our Pro Light timing and scoring is.
As we're watching, Trey Gibbs is still out in front, and right behind him
Milhausen.
is Milhausen.
Milhausen and Holcher are the top 3. I see Tyler Emery back there in 5th.
Taking a look to the inside, can he make that pass? He's looking up the inside, but this is the mid-track. They're not running the full long track, so it shortens them up just a little bit as we're watching Steinhardt, as he still has the lead out in front, but right behind him is keepers, definitely keeping him honest.
Yeah, tough here because we just don't have time and scoring. The live timing and scoring for Pro Light is not updated with us, so we can't tell what that gap is. One of the Pro Light trucks down there in the gravel pit down on the bottom is broken, so the spotters will have to do their job there to keep their drivers out of trouble. Taking a look at the TGR entry up on the bike. Tyler Gibb, whoa!
A big bicycle, a great job by Gibbs.
I said Tyler, it was Trey Gibbs.
Yeah, Trey Gibbs with an unbelievable bicycle. I think he might have lost 2 positions as we see him. Yes, he's back to second place as he's trying to work his way back up into first, but that was a huge bicycle by our
That was Joey Chitwood style. Put her up on 2 wheels and go for a ride, man.
But that's a great racer. He's like, I got it, but I can't just drive out of it. I'm trying to keep going around the corner, but it ended up getting him at the end, but he kept it on 4 wheels.
Yeah, the 52 right there making a bid for the lead as well. Tony Keeper's looking pretty fast in the Pro Buggy. He is all over the rear bumper of Mark Steinhardt. Still very, very close.
Well, Millhausen now with the lead. Gibbs looking to the inside, taking that corner a little bit softer this time. But right now we see Johnny Holcher watching these 2 drivers, but they are not catching the buggies as quick as we thought, so it's going to be really hard for them to make it up there. We still have 6 laps to go, only 2 laps down as we're watching Millhausen as he works his way through. But Trey Gibbs having a little bit of problem. Johnny Holcher making his way around.
Yeah, Trey Gibbs a little bit high right there in that entry. Turn number 1, you saw the Pro Buggy in there as well. He's like, I'm going to give you plenty of room here. Just don't run into me. Millhausen hanging it out. Down into the gravel pit heavy, run it up. These trucks will send you for a ride.
Boy, and the roost here, look at how big the roost is. You only got the mud flaps there just flapping in the breeze, and the roost is so heavy. You can see, big hard man off of that jump.
We'll be right back with more racing from the Forest County Potawatomi Friday Night Thunder. This Forest County Potawatomi Crandon Friday Night Thunder show is brought to you by Toyota, let's go places. Crown Performance, know what the pros know. Crown Performance brake lines. And by Polaris, think outside.
Millhausen now, it looks like 21 seconds back yet from Keepers. Difference there actually from Steinhardt just a little bit more. So yeah, a lot of work to do here and still a lot of cars to pass to get up themselves to pass another 9 cars to catch the leader. Picking them off right here though, trying to get around the 42 car of Kendall.
Millhausen makes the pass, pulls some ground on Holcher, and then we see Gibbs back a little bit as well. So something happened to him. I don't know if he has a problem with his steering. We can see him working his gear shift as he works his way down into the infamous turn 1.
Yeah, they changed the combination on the Pro Lights a few years ago. As we talked about, they had the 4-cylinder 4-speed, now V8, and manually shifted automatic. On board here with that drone shot, which is absolutely phenomenal. Great to have a live drone shot. Don't know that we've ever had that here in short course on a live feed. The 31 of Mark Steinhardt out there in front, doing his job.
There's a big dice at the back. There was some dice going on that we didn't quite see. It looked like Barnhall trying to work his way to the inside of Keepers, and I don't know who came out. It looked like 2 in and 1 out.
It's never good if you're not the one that came out.
No. But this is perfect for the drivers right now. We've seen the lights coming on, but right now it makes it difficult because trying to see the holes in the dirt makes it difficult right now for the drivers to see. So kind of going somewhere in between. Can you believe, Ken, that we are down with lights on this course?
It looks like Dave Mason Jr. took a shot from one of the fellow competitors at the halfway mark, by the way. 4 laps in of this 8-lap competition. Halfway in, and we'll keep an eye on Millhausen Jr. now 18.5 seconds behind our leader.
So we're looking at about 2 seconds a lap. We qualified, they were as quick as 4 seconds, but now it's just 2 seconds, so I don't know if he can make it.
And you know, you bring up a good point here, because in qualifying, the lap conditions could have been completely different. Could have been a little bit wetter for one class than the other, consequently a big 4-second gap. Looking at our leader right there, that is Millhausen Jr. doing a great job for the number 10 truck.
And also we want to throw out there, he's on Radar Tires. I love all the different brands, from Maxxis, Toyo, Mickey Thompson, it goes on B.F. Goodrich, Toyo. I love everybody is out here partying.
Oh man, he clips a huge hole down there in the gravel pit. And that is a spotter you want to remind your driver next time around, because that could not only flip you, but it could actually damage the truck. That was a violent hit.
Well, and these are DOT tires, so these are the same tires that you can buy off the shelf. And if you run them that hard, because DOT tires are not used to landing completely sideways, you can rip the sidewalls. That doesn't mean the tire's weak or anything like that. They're just not designed to land completely sideways.
And consequently, because of that, they also have bead locks on these things that helps hold the tire on the rim, because a hit like that on a regular wheel would absolutely de-bead that tire.
Well, now we see Dave Mason Jr. has worked his way into second place. He's got some work to do if he wants to catch Steinhardt, but Steinhardt is definitely a local guy. He's been up here, his family's been here for years. He knows his way around the big house.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Yeah, he grew up here playing in this dirt, getting it done for sure. Very nice job for Steinhardt. Dave Mason Jr. trying to close the gap here. Last time around, Dave Mason Jr. nearly a second faster, 0.8 quicker than Mark Steinhardt. So he's going to close his gap here, and we're curious to see if Millhausen can continue to close and catch up with our leaders, running at a lap with 3.5 to go.
Yeah, the gap I think is a little bit heavy this year, because they didn't take it for granted how fast these buggies are going. And also, I don't see the other buggies holding up Millhausen, but I just don't see the kind of speed that they anticipate.
And my bad, I said 3.5 to go, 2.5 to go, 2.5 right there. Now it's going to be 2 to go for Mark Steinhardt. It's going to be 2. Oh man, that thing landed hard. That thing landed a ton. That is a violent ride for Millhausen Jr. right now. So here we go, final 2 laps. He's got a long ways to go. 14 seconds back now. I don't know, I don't think that's correct, Ricky, as we take a look at it here. He just jostled down. He was about 14 seconds back. We'll keep an eye on it, though. I mean, as it stands right now, this is Mark Steinhardt's race to lose. He keeps this thing clean. He's going to have to worry more about Dave Mason Jr. than he is Trey Gibbs. I'm sorry, Travis Millhouse.
Yes. Well, and you see a very, very clean line by Dave Mason Jr. He is really doing a good job. He's utilizing the inside, the outside, and he's adjusting his line to the track. So you are absolutely right. The race right now is between Steinhardt and Mason Jr.
And Mason Jr. 9/10, nearly a full second quicker that last time around. We'll see if he can get it done here in one more lap, but he is very, very close to our leader, Mark Steinhardt.
Well, and Ken, you know, it's one thing to catch somebody, it's another thing to pass them. So you're going to see Steinhardt, that thing's going to look like an AMC Pacer. He's going to get very, very wide these last couple laps, because we only have 2 laps to go.
We were listening to the spotter with the BMW team one weekend ago, we ran VIR, and he said, 1 back, half back, make her fat, make her fat.
Got to open it, but right now Steinhardt doing a great job. Really not taking a lot of chances, running right on the cushion. I like Mason running high, low, trying to get that time back, but he did lose that ground, so he's not within striking distance. And we are about a lap and a half to go, so it is getting down to the wire.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I felt like Steinhardt gapped him a little bit, but right there he closes it back up. So Dave Mason Jr. again, very, very close here.
So you throw a blanket over the top 2 in Pro Buggy, and there is not Millhausen Jr. is nowhere in sight, so it is going to be a buggy that wins this challenge this year for sure. As we see Millhausen starting to work his way through, he's a good 10 to 15 seconds back.
So another one here for the buggy dorks. Here comes Dave Mason Jr. down on the bottom. He's going to close it up here. We got a race for the lead on the last lap. Dave Mason Jr. right there on the rear axle, down into the gravel pit. Tries a slide job. Can he get it done? Through the mud. Loses all of his drive. Steinhardt hangs on to it.
Steinhardt doing a great job holding his line, not blocking. Mason doing everything he can. Looks to the inside again.
One more time. He's going to get it done. Can he hang on to it? Last lap, last turn, and they get into each other. But it's going to be Dave Mason Jr. sideways across the stripe to grab the win. What a battle.
I'll take the win if I'm upside down. It doesn't matter. It is over.
What a race.
Unbelievable job by Dave Mason Jr. And now we see Johnny Holcher is the first, actually no, the second Pro 2 or Pro Light. So very tough for these guys. They had a big gap to make up, but right there's your top three: Millhausen Jr., Gibbs, and Johnny Holcher.
Crandon, put your hands together for all the competitors out here. 26 deep in the Pro Buggies versus the Pro Lights. They put on a race, baby. That's what it's all about here at the Big House. We're going to see what happens here to Millhausen Jr. because he was leading this race way high up in the fluff in turn number 1. Did he get in trouble here?
No, the right,
yeah, that's
the
trouble.
left rear tire. Yeah, I'm going to say you're missing something there, buddy. But right there, his wheel came off, but he still rolls. And here comes Johnny Holcher working his way around. So I apologize. I was wrong. Johnny Holcher was the one that was the top Pro Light.
What a race we just saw, the Pro Buggies versus the Pro Lights. Great call by Kent Stout. Let's throw it over to Kristen Banks right now, who is standing by with numbers 1, 2, and 3. Kristen.
Thanks, Chris. Now the first Cup race of the weekend, and wow, that was an exciting one. Tony Keepers, your third place finisher. Now you put down the crowd's going crazy. You put down consistent laps, and you stayed out of all the drama to make it on the podium. How'd you get it done?
The whole shot's huge. I come through turn 1 following Steiny, and I didn't expect that, I'll be honest with you. I just started driving this car a month and a half ago. Last year we had a truck, I crashed it in the fall, and this spring Mark actually asked me to drive his car, and I got in there. It's the first time I ever drove a Pro Buggy, and I thought, man, this thing's awesome.
Now we're gonna move over here to your second place finisher, Mark Steinhardt. I'm being told that you are the GOAT of buggy racing. You were out there, you're the local guy, you were racing a clean race. Did you see Dave Mason Jr. coming?
Well, I know as soon as the spotter said, and then he's there, and then I'd gap him, and then he's there, and then I'd gap him, and then it's like, yeah, I got to protect the inside line going into turn 1. Well, apparently his inside line's a little further than mine, so he did a good move on me. Awesome race. Got into him there after the finish line. We hooked together, and it's all good.
Dave Mason Jr., you're putting down your fastest laps near the end of that race. Walk me through that last turn and finish.
Oh man, it was wild. I had to throw it down. I have a lot of respect for these guys in the class. Steiny's a great driver. I didn't want to take him out, but I had to try and make a move. It's the only chance I had because he was running so fast that whole race. I threw it down there, barely made it stick, and I crossed the line basically facing backwards, but fortunately I was number 1.
I know it takes a whole team. You got a cute one right here. Anyone you want to thank?
Yeah, absolutely. Yokohama Tires, they're my primary sponsor this year. The tires really came in at the end, and I had a ton of speed. The ruts out there were super gnarly, and I kept hitting them, and the tires just held up great. So thank you, Yokohama Tires, Vision Canopies, Champion Metalworks, Baja Designs, Factory Raceco Honda, Pedal Commander, and my whole team. My parents are here, my family's here, my wife Taylor supports me in everything. My 6-month-old son Miles has been up here a few times, and that's wonderful. Bacon, Evan, and Paul. I just have a great crew and a great family, and I'm so blessed to do this. I'm so glad we were able to beat all the Pro Light guys and show that the Buggy Dorks are on top this year.
Congratulations to Dave Mason Jr. And like he said, all buggies on the podium tonight. Back over to you, Chris.
Thank you very much, Kristen. Yeah, baby Miles just chilling there in the arms of his papa. Congratulations to Dave Mason Jr. on an exciting finish and a great win. Don't go anywhere. Class 11, the VWs are coming up under the lights.
This Forest County Pottawatomie Crandon Friday Night Thunder Show is brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. El Bandito Yankee Tequila. Break out the Bandito. And by Buzz Electric Bicycles. Buzz through life.
I'm Marty Fioca, the promoter of Crandon International Raceway at the 55th annual Polaris Crandon World Championships and Red Bull Cup weekend. We're in the Fox booth today celebrating 50 years of Fox Racing Shocks at the 55th anniversary here at Crandon. I've been an athlete, I use that term loosely, with Fox since 1989. We've kind of progressed together and grown together. Even though I don't race full time, I do race vintage cars now with Fox at Nora Race. And then next year here at Crandon, we're going to do vintage off-road racing. I just restored a 1993 Berrien Pro Buggy that was raced here by Art Schmidt. The Fox Shocks, of course. So we're super happy to be here. But really, it's about celebrating 50 years of a company that's grown and progressed and actually pushed this sport forward. You know, the new livery they've come up with, this gold and black, looks fantastic. So our original race car is Angelina. This car, however, the car we're debuting here is the Tina car. And if you know Crandon at all, you know that Tina is the heart and soul of this place. And the car was built in Michigan. She was from Michigan, so it just made sense. Being here representing with them is pretty much one of the highlights of the weekend for me. There's lots of highlights at any Crandon Labor Day weekend. Personally, though, helping Fox celebrate their 50th is probably at the top of that list.
Welcome back to Crandon, Wisconsin, everybody. You're watching Friday Night Thunder presented by Toyota. Let's go places. And if you are a fan of the VW class, this is the moment you have been waiting for. Certainly the moment I've been looking forward to all day as Class 11 is set to go under the lights. And with the call, here is Ken Stout and Ricky Johnson.
Thanks a lot. We appreciate that. Yeah, fans, here we go. If you've not seen the Class 11 cars go, you are in for a treat. It will bring a smile to your face. First time I watch them, I'm like, really, VW buggies? But they're incredible, man. And the coolest part about these things is they are as close to bone stock as you can get. And they run these things in the Baja 1000.
They absolutely. And every trophy truck guy out there says, you know, when people start complimenting them and how fast and how great and everything, they go, but it's the Class 11 guys that really got the chops, because they're out there so long. I mean, they just barely make the cutoff time, 48 hours, and they're out there the all time. And now we see all these different cars, so many that we're not going to be able to keep up with it, so we're going to make a little apology right now. But I do know that pink car right in the middle is Blake Wilkie. They call him Shreddy. He is always one of the top guys, but I don't want to take anything away from any of the other competitors. But this is new to us.
Yeah, it is new to us. I apologize, we're not familiar with all the drivers here, but yeah, Wilkie is certainly a standout, a more champion, has also won the Met 400. There's some players inside here as well. I believe it's Cisco Bio who has won here last couple of times, so we'll keep our eyes on him as well. And once they get close enough for our camera personnel to get us some numbers, we'll keep an eye on it. But take a look at that field, 19 on the entry list.
Well, and if you're young, ask your grandparents about Herbie the Love Bug, because that's where it all started with a superhero that was Herbie the Love Bug. We got two nose to tail right in the middle next to Blake Wilkie, so anything can happen. These guys don't have beadlocks, so they have to think about that cushion running too hard, because that a lot of times is what takes them out, is deep beating that tire.
Yeah, and a couple of years ago, we had one go over this kicker right here in the front straightaway and went for a big ride. Now, in years gone by, they've actually had a co-driver inside of them, but my understanding is there will be no co-driver here this year. So just the drivers that will come out here. This race will be 10 laps in distance with a mandatory caution. And as you mentioned before, you always give credit to Mr. Jim Baldwin for that. It's a great way to put on a show here for the fans. We essentially get 2 starts in one race.
Well, and I used to argue with him, but you know, after I argued with everybody, but with him, I was like, man, you know how hard you have to work to get that lead? And he's like, I don't care. I want to watch racing at the end. So this competition, you know, I got to give it. I think NASCAR invented it with the debris on the track, or some of the guys pulling roll bar padding out and throwing it out the window.
They just got a little more creative with the name, that's all.
He just said, I'm not going to lie about it. We're stopping the race and restarting it. But right now, you see a lot of bugs out there, and we're getting ready to go. We got the yellow flag, then we're going green.
Yep, unravel those things. We're getting ready to go here. He'll hold that yellow flag out. Crandon, are you ready for some Class 11 racing? Here we go! He's got his suitcase on the top. Oh, that's a cooler. He's bringing a beer with him.
Blake Wilkie is second place in that purple car on the outside with the yellow lines. You can see how hard they hit. That's one thing you got to remember. You got to take care of those tires.
and you can see the personality inside of the cars here, all the different colors, coolers, antennas, different lights, way out in the fluff right there, man. It'll really rob these things of speed. They just don't have the horsepower to drive through that fluff.
Here we're watching Blake Wilkie. He looks up the inside. He is faded back. Now we see some smoke coming out of the leader. So trouble right there for our leader.
Blake Wilkie in there. Look at him fight that thing, man. And a nice outside-in move as well for one of the other competitors. They have some good racecraft, and yeah, a lot of smoke out of our leader. Continental Tire sponsored machine. See the 1107 in there as well.
That is Rodriguez in first, Wilkie second, Reinhardt third, with Clemente in fourth.
So the first 10 across the stripe with Ryan Rodriguez out front, and I want to say he's had some really good success here in the past as well. Unfortunately, it actually looked like he lost power for a second. I saw the headlights go off and back on.
Well, you got to remember, they're shifting. So if you try to rush this little transmission on this bug, you're going to miss a shift, and that's what happened. And now Blake Wilkie is out in front.
Blake Wilkie, as we talked about before here, very successful in these cars. Been doing it for a long time.
And he does everything. He started out making kind of an unlimited Class 5, did some donuts on the street, went to jail, got the car confiscated, and then sold it to somebody over in Dubai. And now he's made a living out of starting Shreddy Enterprises. So great job by Blake Wilkie. He's one of those guys that looks like Jeff Spicoli from Fast Times at Ridgemont, but as my son talks about, he's a great fabricator, he's a great businessman, and right now he is leading our Class 11 championship.
So way out in front right now is Wilkie driving away. And I believe that is Ryan Rodriguez in second place. Still a lot of smoke, and it looks like steam to me. But they're air-cooled, right?
I was going to say, where's that steam coming from?
It looks like steam. I'm just saying it looks like steam, but it can't be steam because they don't have radiators. So
it's got to be steam from oil hitting.
Yeah, well, oil smoke, yeah.
Oil steam.
That's not good. So when that smoke stops, he's going to stop.
Exactly, 100%. But Wilkie doing a great job. He, as he said, he drives a little bit of everything, so he's very comfortable in these cars, and you have to keep him well within the box. You can't modify your motor too much. You can't change your chassis, so you have to learn how to drive it. Blake's definitely doing a good job. He's got a comfortable lead. Rodriguez in second place, still smoking, so he's still got some oil in there.
Yep, absolutely right. By the way, that is not a bug. That is a drone, and Jordan doing a great job flying that matter. There's the drone shot. Incredible shot. We thank him for his talents and those beautiful shots at speed.
You can see still 9 laps to go. We're already seeing some of that, as Cliff Flannery would say, some nutrition going on out there. So a little attrition taking some of the vehicles out. And now Rodriguez has worked his way right back to Wilkie. So Wilkie better not relax.
Wilkie's backing off, like slowing down. Maybe Wilkie has an issue.
Well, I did see Wilkie not hit the jumps quite as hard. He's not setting it quite as hard. Probably saving on it. Doesn't want to break anything, but he better get going as we see a spin out down there in the gravel pit.
See if I can figure out the 76 car. I believe that's Eric Reinhardt, who unfortunately had that spin.
Well, the good and bad news is Rodriguez has a little bit of smoke coming out now. So either it's fixed itself or it's run out. So one of those two things. But right now, he is definitely right back on Wilkie. And once again, we're seeing more smoke on the right side.
And maybe it is as simple as an oil leak getting on the exhaust manifold, and he will be able to survive. Certainly hasn't lost any speed yet. Great onboard shot here as well. By the way, the Starstream, and I'm guessing this is a Starstream
yes.
onboard. George Hamill has really perfected that onboard shot out in the desert where these guys typically compete. And it's the first time in history that one's over that we've been able to go to a live onboard shot. So safety right there immediately. We'll see if we can figure out who that is. Take a look at the flat bottom on that buggy. Pretty cool. You can also see all the stock components underneath it now that he's given us a view of the bottom.
Now we're going to a full course yellow, so this works out perfect. I think they're going to get the competition yellow out of the way, even though we have 8 laps to go. Sometimes when you have a crash like this where it's a safety matter, you go ahead and pull the yellow flag early. Now that's my assumption. I could be wrong. You know what they say about assuming, Ken?
Yes, I do.
And sometimes I do that quite a bit.
Don't do it.
So we still could get that competition yellow, but a lot of times they will put that in place.
And they're rolling back over, see if we can get a number here.
We want to thank the guys from Vision Canopy. They support a lot of the racers out here, doing a great job. Kyle Harrisburg, who does it. That could be Kyle in that car. We'll find out. So tough rollover, but hey, no blood, no foul.
Yeah,
drop a fender, let's roll.
Great friends with Adrian Cheney, supports Adrian Cheney's effort. That's who the 10 were under as well. So yeah, we appreciate all the support from the Vision Canopy folks and what they do for all the racers out here. A number of the racers, I should say. On board there, once again, that is the Starstream. So I was talking about that before.
Yes.
They actually have an onboard camera here. It has a Starlink panel on the back. It is sending a signal up to the satellite. It comes down, provides a link, and then the people that are in the truck can grab that link and bring us these incredible onboard shots.
And that's what
pretty cool stuff here. As we will take a quick break right here. Plenty more action coming from the Class 11 cars, and you don't want to miss it here at Crandon. Welcome back to Crandon International Raceway. There's the pace vehicle. That is a Miata, pretty cool looking one as well, driven by Emmy Hall. We still have a number of laps to go here in the Class 11 race, as we had a wreck here early on, so had to get it turned back over. As you can see, 8 laps yet to go here at Crandon. Having a great time here on Friday Night Thunder, and it's all presented by Toyota. Let's go places. Take a look at what started off as a 19-car field.
Well, and as you looked at that Mazda Miata, I don't think you could get me and Big Block squeezed into that thing, no matter how much powder or Vaseline. There's no way you and I are fitting in that car.
You know what? Todd Remery did a good job a little bit earlier tonight on the show and was in the #1 position. And I heard him say he's going to be driving one of these. Todd Remery is a big dude, man,
yeah.
a big, strong dude. So he wedged himself in there somehow. Blake Wilkie is back on the throttle. Here we go. 8 laps left in this competition. We'll see if Wilkie can hang on, because he started backing into Rodriguez a little bit.
When Rodriguez had the fastest lap by a 1.5 seconds. So if he can start pulling it out, we see a little bit of oil. It's not slowing him down, so probably just an oil line, dropping a little bit of oil on that header, but he is definitely running strong. So Rodriguez second place right now as he looks to the inside of Wilkie, has the fastest lap time, so see if he can put himself back in the lead.
Coming back at it right there, good battle for the lead. Oliver right back there in 3rd place, and that's with a cooler full of beer. I don't really know if it's full of beer, but he's got the cooler up there anyways. He's running a little wider line, but chops that thing down outside in, maybe keep a little momentum, and they all put a bumper on each other.
A little bumping and grinding. I'm going to say there's some snacks up there, maybe some sandwiches, some brats, some cheese curds.
Don't you talk dirty to me. Look at this contact, man. He's forcing his way down in there.
Oh.
A great battle. Avery Schmidt and one of them off the track, and that'll do it. We saw the smoke out of that thing the entire race, and unfortunately for Rodriguez, it looks like it has finally taken its toll.
Yeah, he definitely, probably that oil pressure light came on and said enough is enough, and so he pulls over. So tough break for the fastest driver on the track, but still Blake Wilkie is out front and showing the way.
Blake Wilkie now, with no pressure on him, is able to run the line that he wants, maybe take it a little bit easier over some of these jumps, take care of the car. How much can you back off here as a race car driver? What would you do? Where's your comfort zone?
Well, I would like, if you got a lead this big, I would like to have at least 5 seconds in case you get some lappers or something like that. That gives you time. So what he's going to do is save his equipment, jumping over the jumps a little bit softer, try not to pop the bead off of those tires. Because as they get hotter, as they start to gain pressure and stuff like that, but it does weaken the sidewall a little bit, because that is a narrow little tire. So it's not built for this, but they sure do a good job driving it.
And I'm guessing they have spotters. I mean, obviously
yes.
At the desert they would not, but here in short course with the jumps, it's mandatory to have a spotter. So you would rely on your spotter as well to help you understand where that next car is.
And what they'll do is they'll tell you one back, half back, like you said, fat
Make
back.
her fat, make her fat.
That's right. But a lot of the times the guys will tell you half back, clear by 10, clear by 20. You got a big lead, no pressure from behind, and that's definitely what they're telling Blake Wilkie. Because if you look at the train behind him, everybody has settled in. No one's within striking distance, so you have to run really clean laps the next couple laps to try to get yourself up there.
Oliver Clemente with the cooler on top, now in 2nd place. Avery Schmidt in 3rd. Will Harris in 4th. And Shapiro to round out the top 5 here. Vanden Elzen, by the way, that's Amanda Vanden Elzen down there in 10th place. But her family doing a lot of racing out here this weekend.
Well, and as we've talked about, so much of family. You know, your son is out here. My son Luke is here working with hard hit with the Remering family, and then you have everything from the Dukes are out here. It was great to see everybody here as long as the Greaves on down the line. So family affair.
Obviously flying the Trump colors there as well. A good battle right down to the bottom. Carrying some speed, tries to go outside in, tightens them up just a little bit. That is the 1141, I believe.
And I've seen it multiple times where they have hooked bumpers, and next thing you know, they're doing donuts, chasing each other around, kind of like two dogs stuck. But you got to avoid that. Try to do a little bump and run. Little two wheels coming through the corner, definitely running hard.
Good to see the battles out here on the track for sure. That's what it's saying. Sometimes, you know, you can be racing back there for 10th place and have an absolute blast.
Well, and I've been there. Sometimes you find somebody that settles in the speed that you're going. You two might be off the pace a little bit that day, but you're racing as hard as you can. You might have missed your setup a little bit, but right now it's this man, Blake Wilkins. We're watching him on the Starlink as he goes around the Starstream live video and doing a great job. So Blake Wilkins definitely keeping it shredded.
Yeah, and that's something you can look up online from Starstream. They have two different options. You can use the one with the Starlink that we were talking about, basically the Elon Musk setup. So you can use that system, or if there's a good cell system, you can also use cell technology as well. The Starlink one will be a little bit more money, of course, but you got to buy the panel. That's really the expensive part, but it's a great option if you want some cool real-time onboard footage.
Kid, did you ever think that you would say Class 11, Elon Musk, and Starlink all in the same sentence? I would have bet $1 million.
That's a really good point.
So technology at the highest and its lowest, all going on right now. But you know, we do have racing. And look at him swatting flies as he makes his way across.
We're talking about when he back it down and take it a little bit easy. I mean, clearly hanging it out right there.
Definitely not. 3 laps to go. Blake Wilkins has himself a comfortable lead, just over 9 seconds.
Great stuff here as once again our leader out front, Blake Wilkie, getting the job done. Flamante in second. Schmidt. Shapiro now has moved up a spot. Lund now inside of the top 5.
So as they're working their way around, but this, I have to really, my hat's off to the crew. How much new dirt they have here. You know, we talked about 2 feet of dirt over a mile long. Imagine how many truckloads of dirt they brought into this place. It's going to be awesome racing all weekend long.
Castillo down there to the bottom trying to make a pass on Smith. Could not get it done. And how cool is that? I mean, you see that it's open down on the bottom. You would think would be able to make that pass, but you have to carry momentum in these cars.
If you come in, and it works that way really with anything. I don't care if you're Formula One or whatever, but right now we see the pass to the outside. Now has the run coming into the barn jump. We have the first jump and the barn jump to the left, which we see a little bit of smoke coming out, but still running hard, and that is a good. That's a hard hit. Based on Rodriguez's first 3 laps plus a couple of caution laps, he should be able to make it to the end, even though there's some smoke coming out. We'll see if Costello can hang on there. Well, Schmidt and Shapiro are dicing back and forth. Schmidt in the white car with a little bit of smoke screen coming up, but Shapiro diving in hard, using that cushion, trying to get a run because it's a balance. Do I go the short, slow way, or do we go the long, fast way? These only go so fast, so we got to split the difference. And I was looking at timing and scoring. I believe that was Circus, by the way, the 11:53 that made the pass. There's the 11:49. Unfortunately, that is Harris, who has lost power, and the 11:41 sitting right beside him, which I've yet to be able to find that number on our scorecard. Once again, we are watching live from inside the Starlink Starstream setup here. Blake Wilkie as he works his way around. Now he's going to go through, up and over by the sweets, and then jump down into the gravel pit. Carrying some good speed here and runs the shorter way around here, right down there on the bottom. He enters low, and then carries that momentum up a little bit high. Just on the exit. Yeah, dime in the corner, make them time coming in, make them time coming off, and give up a little bit in the middle, but very, very safe because you're not leaning on that berm the whole time. Because these have narrow tires, narrow wheelbase, or wheel width, so that does typically want a bicycle run. I believe white flag out. Here we go, final lap. Wilkie trying to hang on here. Blake with a great run.
here tonight. Took that lead a little bit early on. Rodriguez was having some trouble. Brought the fight back to him, but then had a mechanical.
I love the guys running the big neon buggy whips. If you guys want one of those for your side-by-side, whatever, just check out Buggy Whip. You can go online and get one of those from those guys. They are unbelievable. It lights up everything around you. We're even going to run one on our trophy truck spec for Lucas Cassidy because we can see him coming from a distance.
Final lap here as we wrap up the Class 11s. So much fun. We're really glad they come out here, and they absolutely put on a show. Cars come out prepared. I hear, you know, honestly, trying to find parts for these things is not the easiest thing. It's, you know, not too many people. You can't just go buy some of this stuff over the shelf anymore.
Check out the line. As you said, straight in, get the turn done, the make time coming out. So Blake Wilkie is definitely putting it together. And as you're right, trying to find parts of this and that, you can get aftermarket bodies to help you out. But once again, we've got Blake Wilkie coming to the finish.
How about that? Excellent run there for Wilkie, doing exactly what he has to do to survive this one. And we'll come across the stripe in first. Excellent job. They're showing Donnie Donovan in second there, and Oliver Flamate, I believe it is. See if we can get
tomato, tomato, potato, potato.
I believe that was the 1107, if I'm not mistaken, there of Donovan, who's in second place. So congratulations to Donnie Donovan, who was right there on the back bumper.
Yeah, he made up a lot of ground the last couple laps. I know that Blake maybe soft pedaling it a little bit, but I got to give it to Donovan. He definitely made up some ground.
Well, once again, we're going to take a quick break here. When we come back, we'll show you highlights and we'll talk to our winner as well. Stay with us.
This Forest County Pottawatomie Crandon Friday Night Thunder show is brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. Rod End Supply. We don't just sell them, we race them. And by Lucas Oil. Keep that engine alive.
Oh, what a phenomenal day of racing it has been here in Crandon, Wisconsin. And the Class 11 race certainly did not disappoint. We're going to throw it down to Ken Stout once again with highlights from the VWs.
Thanks a lot, Chris. We appreciate that. And this is what it looked like, 19 cars strong as they kicked it off from the start. The Continental back machine of Ryan Rodriguez down there on the bottom got the whole shot.
Ryan Rodriguez was strong. Blake Wilkie, our eventual winner, but now we saw smoke right at the beginning. Here comes Wilkie around the inside. Can't make the paso, but then Rodriguez missed a shift. Look, the power went off. The lights went off. So that tells us that he lost power there for a second. So Rodriguez was quick, had the fastest lap, but that ended up catching him.
Yeah, you can see all that smoke rolling out of the back of Rodriguez's car right there, trying to hang on, and he actually was closing the gap here once again on Blake Wilkie. Then another battle a little bit deeper as Donnie Donovan was now trying to close the gap on Rodriguez, and look at the battle that ensued here.
They were bumping side to side. You got to be careful with these because you can see they have stock bumpers, and I've seen them get hooked up before. But then Donovan got away, but a lot more racing towards the back.
Yeah, wrapping this one up here. Boy, it was a lot of fun for sure. A lot of great action. So let's get it over to the podium. And Miss Kristen has our winners, our podium finishers.
Thanks, Ken. Congratulations to your third place finisher, Oliver Flamante, your first time at Crandon, and you podiumed. How did you get it done, and how does it feel standing up here?
It feels amazing. It's a dream. It's my first time here in Crandon. We came from Ensenada, Mexico. We drove over almost 3,000 miles to get here, and it's our first time for Los Flamate racing here in Ensenada, and I'm so happy to race against these big guys, and I'm so happy and so proud to be here in Crandon. It's my first time, and I hope God keep coming, get healthy for keep coming every year. Thanks all the fans for the support. Viva Mexico.
Donnie Donovan, how does it feel to be standing on this podium here tonight?
It feels good. It feels good. I'm glad to be out here. This is literally one of the funnest races that there is, and you know, it was a good race. You know, Blake was that much faster. I got to give it to him. It was a clean, fair and square win. You know, I came up a little short, but you know, definitely grateful for second.
Well, congratulations to Donnie Donovan for his second place finish in that Class 11. Blake Wilkie, your first place finisher. Now, you had a comfortable lead. You had a great race. Tell me the difference. Would you rather have that, or would you rather have someone knocking on your door?
I mean, it's hectic when someone's knocking on your door, and I know Ryan was right there, so I was just pushing the car as hard as she could. I know she was floating valves, oil lights flickering and stuff, so it was a battle.
Well, I think we definitely need to join the winner's circle party there. Kristen, thank you so much. And thank you for joining us for this phenomenal day one here in Crandon, Wisconsin. What a blast it has been. My name is Chris Jacobs. It's been my honor to be your host today. I want to thank all of my colleagues, beginning with Ken Stout, Miles Hasselquist, Dave Cole, Ricky Johnson, Pam Hall, and of course Christian Banks on the podium interviewing the winners. Thank you all. Good night.